this week, I'm going to lead you through a yoga practice for those moments when you feel tired. So this could be a practice for days when you feel low on energy, but you still want to move, do some gentle stretches. Or maybe it's a rainy day practice when you can't go outside and do more dynamic exercising. So this could suit those moments very well. Let's get started. For this practice, a few props might be quite helpful. So I have a bolster here. You could have some kind of a cushion or maybe a rolled up blanket instead of a bolster, and maybe some blocks. So I have 2 blocks here. I think 1 block might be enough today. If you don't have blocks, you could just have maybe some smaller cushions or pillows that you could use instead of those blocks. So any easy props that you can find nearby, bring them next to your mat, and then we're going to start in a seat. So when you have all your props and your practice space ready, just bring yourself into an easy seat. It could be a cross-legged seat. You might also sit on your knees, wherever you feel you could spend a few minutes as we start our practice in the seated pose. And first, do a couple of shoulder rolls. Just lifting the shoulders up and then dropping them down. Allowing your shoulders to release away from the ears. And then just leave your shoulders resting down. And either leave your hands on your knees or bring one hand on your chest, the other hand on your belly. And you could close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And then take a few slightly deeper breaths here in and out. Just allowing your breaths to drop down towards the bottom of the ribs. Maybe all the way down to the belly area. Don't force your breath. Just notice where you can easily, naturally find some space for your breaths now. And let your shoulders stay relaxed. So if you notice that you're tensing your neck or shoulders as you breathe in and out, you could do a couple more of those shoulder rolls. And then focus on breathing a bit further down towards the bottom of the ribs. Or maybe focus on breathing towards the back if you can find some more space on the back side. And let your belly stay soft. And let your breath sink down towards the belly area as well. Let's take a couple more breaths here. As we go through the practice, just move and breathe at your own energy level. So if you feel you're tired, really, really tired now, just take it easy. Don't force the movements or poses either. So this practice is more about listening to your body, listening to how much you have energy to move today in this moment. And if at any point you feel like you just want to go into your Shavasana pose, your resting pose, just go for it. No need to push through any movements or poses. And then if you have hands on your chest and belly, you could slowly release the arms, bring hands down. If you want, you can open your eyes if you had your eyes closed. And then we're going to go into a side bend, a seated side bend. So you can stay in that seat where you are right now. And lean your right hand onto the mat on your right hand side. And then as you inhale, gently lengthen the left arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, start to lean a bit further towards the right hand into a side bend and bend that left elbow so you can bring your left hand resting on your head or behind the head. And we'll take a few breaths here. Just sending those breaths towards the left side body. Breathing towards the left armpit, towards the ribs on the left-hand side. Let's take another breath here, in and out. And then with your next in breath, slowly lengthen your back, your left arm up, and then release your left hand down. We'll do the same to the other side. So walk that left hand a bit further out to the left side of the mat. And then as you inhale, lengthen your right arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, bend towards that left arm. You can bend your right arm. So maybe your right hand is resting on the head. Maybe it's resting behind the head. And a few breaths here, letting yourself lean into that side bend, opening the right side body. And keep your neck soft. If it would help, you might turn your nose down towards the mat. So in today's practice, let yourself find the easy way through the practice. Not pushing, not forcing, but just kind of floating through the practice. And then again, slowly as you inhale, lift yourself back up. Release your arms down and give yourself a couple of shoulder rolls. A couple of times, rolling the shoulders up and down. And then we're going to come down from our seat and move on to all fours. So if you have any props there under the pelvis, move those props aside and bring yourself onto hands and knees. We're going to go into a few cat-cows. So hands roughly under your shoulders, knees roughly under your hips. And now as you inhale, round your back. And then as you exhale, open your chest. Moving into a gentle back bend. You might look forward if that feels good. Not forcing the neck. And again, as you breathe in, round your spine, just gently pushing the floor away through the hands and arms. And as you exhale, opening the chest, you might turn tail up towards the ceiling. And a few more rounds. Just continue with your own breath. So I'm suggesting today to inhale as we round the back and then exhale as we open the chest. But you might reverse that breath. Or you might take some extra breaths along the way. As long as you keep breathing and find some ease in your breath. It's often nice to play with the breath. Just reversing the breath might give you some new dimensions for the poses and movements. There's no right or wrong way to breathe. Let's go through one more round of those cat-cows, so rounding and arching the spine. And then bring yourself back to center, what feels like center to you now. And then we're going to move into the melting heart pose, the puppy pose. And now you could do this without any props. You could just walk hands further forward and then start to slowly release your chest down towards the mat. Maybe your forehead comes down. You could also bend your arms, maybe lean head onto your arms. We're finding a gentle back bend where our chest is melting towards the mat. Now, if this feels a bit too intense, reach for a pillow or a bolster and bring it under your chest. So there's some support under your chest as you lean down. This might give some space for your head as well.
We are leaving the pelvis up. So the pelvis stays at the highest point. However, if you start to feel that this puppy pose, this melting heart pose, doesn't feel good today, you can always lean into child's pose. So feel free to bring the pelvis down if that would be more useful for your practice today. For the puppy pose, we are looking for a gentle back bend, opening around the shoulders. You can still adjust your arms if you want. We'll stay another 5 to 10 breaths here, so we have time to soften into the pose. Allow your breaths to slide towards the pelvis, towards the lower back. When you feel low on energy, the puppy pose can be a great pose to replace downward dog. It's a similar pose, but it's the puppy version. It's a smaller, a bit more gentle version of the full downward dog. Take 1 or 2 more breaths here, in and out. And then slowly, in your own time, start to find your hands under shoulders and slowly help yourself back onto all fours. We'll move. If you have a bolster there, just move it aside and then bring yourself back to a seat. Now we're going to go into a seat twist. So bring your right leg in front of you and then keep your left knee bent. So left foot could be on the inside of that right leg, or you can step your left foot to the outside of that right leg, so crossing the leg to the opposite side. With your right arm, you can either hug the left knee towards the chest, or you might also bring your right elbow to the outside of that left leg, if that feels good. Now, left hand somewhere behind you, and this is where you could have a block or a cushion under the left hand if you have a bit shorter arms like I do. So it might give some extra support under the arm. And we're going to go into that twist. So as you inhale and exhale, just gently continue twisting to the left side. You might turn head towards the left, so you're looking over the left shoulder. But if that starts to tense the neck, just release the head. You might even turn your head in the opposite direction if that feels good. And then give yourself a few more breaths here. We're just breathing down and up along the spine. Trying not to push or pull too much, just let the arms support that twist. And then, with your next couple of breaths, slowly start to release that twist. Come back to center. And then we're gonna go to the other side. So release your legs. And we're gonna leave the left leg in front. Bend the right knee, so right foot could be now on the inside of the left leg, or you can step your right foot to the outside of that left leg and
Left arm can hug the right knee in, or you might slide your elbow to the outside of that right leg, and then right hand somewhere behind you. Again, it could be on the mat, or you could have a block there under that right hand, so you get some support through the arms. Inhale and exhale, just gently continue twisting towards the right. Keeping tops of the shoulders soft. You're not pushing, not pulling, but allowing the arms to support your spine in that twist. So maybe we can find some softness through the back, the shoulders, through the neck. And just breathing. You can see where you want to turn the head so your neck can stay relaxed. Leaving space for the breaths. It's okay if the practice feels easy. Take another breath in and out in your twist. Just letting yourself enjoy the poses. And then slowly and start to release your twist. Come back to center. You can release the legs and maybe lean onto the hands for a few breaths. Bend both knees and do a few windshield wipers, just swinging the legs. Gentle movement in the hips. You can let your whole pelvis rock from side to side. And then we are planning on going into a forward bending deer. And we're going to bring our left leg in front. So if you have a bolster or some cushions there, bring those props in front of you and bring your left shin, left leg in front of you, right leg behind you. The right knee could be bent now, so there's a bit more weight on that left buttock, left hip. Of course, if you prefer swan legs, extending that back leg, that is an option. And then inhale, exhale, start to round your back forward, leaning over that left leg. And if you have some props there, you could bring them under your head, or you can bring props under the chest, under the belly as well. So finding a place where you feel that you don't need to tense your shoulders, you don't need to tense your neck. You might turn head to one side as well. This pose might bring a gentle stretch through that left buttock, left thigh. Or maybe you feel this along the back is a forward bend. Just make sure there's no pain in any of your joints. No pinching, no sharp sensations. And then notice your breath. You might give yourself some deeper breaths. But it's plenty enough if we just observe the breath, notice the breath. That's plenty enough. It's okay to let the breath relax as well. We don't need to be doing our deep, controlled breathing all the time. It's good for us if we can let the breath relax and rest as well. Let's take just a couple more breaths here, in and out. And then after those couple of breaths, or when you feel ready to do so, bring some weight onto your hands. You can press your hands on the mat and slowly help yourself up. Move any props aside. And then We're going to go to the opposite side, to the other side of that same deer. So you can maybe just move to the other side of the mat. If you have props there, bring them with you so that now the right leg would be in front of you, left leg behind you. And you could use different props on this side as well. Inhale, exhale to slowly start to lean forward. And it might be that you need some different props here. You might also stack props on top of each other. And that support could be under your head, under the chest. Of course, you don't have to use any props. You might also lean all the way down on the mat, on the floor. And let yourself find your breath. If there is pain in your knee or hip, then try playing with the angle that you have in your hip joint, in the knee joint, or you can also point or flex your ankle. All of those small changes might make a big difference in the pose. No pinching, no sharp sensations. I'm trying to soften the shoulders, the neck as much as possible. And then just breathing in and out. Sending your breaths to those places where you feel the pose most now. And let's take a few more breaths here, in and out. And then, in your own time, when you feel ready to do so, find your hands on the mat and just slowly, slowly bring your back up, bring your head up. We'll release the legs, and then we're going to come lie down on the back. And as you come lie down, have your props somewhere nearby so that when eventually we go into a supported bridge, you have your props nearby. And just bring yourself to lie down on the back. Let's extend the legs for a moment. We've had them bent quite a long time, so take a few breaths, just releasing the legs. Notice how you feel here. And if at this point you feel that you just want to stay in this Shavasana pose, you can stay here. Then I'm going to suggest that we do some moving bridges and then a supported bridge pose. So if you want to explore those bridges, step your feet on the mat, maybe about hip width apart. And we'll start with movement first. So arms, hands somewhere next to your sides on the mat. Inhale. And as you exhale, press your feet on the mat, elevating your pelvis, your back off the mat into your bridge. Inhale at the top of that bridge. And then as you exhale, just slowly release the back down. Inhale on the mat. Let your buttocks, your thighs soften with that in-breath. And then with the next exhalation, we'll go back up again, pressing down through the feet, elevating the pelvis, the back off the mat. No need to push into your full bridge. Just find a gentle bridge and inhale there. And then again, as you exhale, just slowly release down. Let the back soften, let the buttocks, thighs soften. Inhale down on the mat, and we'll do 2 more rounds with your exhalation, pressing down through the feet, lifting off the mat, maybe opening the chest if that feels good. Again, with the exhalation, slowly releasing down. Again, let the movement be easy for you. Don't push too far.
Inhale on the mat. And then we're going to go up into that supported bridge. So one more time. As you exhale, lift your pelvis, your back off the mat. Now we stay here and we reach for a prop. So it could be a block, or it could be a bolster, it could be a pillow. Bring that prop under the pelvis. So now we can rest your pelvis on a prop. You decide how high up, how low down you are propping your pelvis. But now we're not holding, we're not lifting off the mat anymore. We're just supported on the block or on the bolster. This frees your arms as well. If you want, you could bring arms overhead on the mat, on the floor, or maybe out to the sides. And then just let yourself breathe here. We'll spend about 5 to 10 breaths in this supported bridge. And allow your belly to soften, allow your buttocks, your thighs to soften. If you know that there's a different place, different shape for your legs that suits your body better, feel free to adjust where you have your legs. And let your breaths move all the way up towards the pelvic floor. Letting your pelvic floor soften and letting that abdominal area to soften. We often hold a lot of tension in the belly area. So let that belly soften here. And let your breath soften as well. And just notice how you feel. Without pushing, without pulling yourself to a certain kind of feeling or experience, just let yourself notice what's going on for you right now in this moment. And that's plenty enough. And then after a couple more breaths here, if you feel that you'd be ready to come back down on the mat, you can slowly bring arms back down next to your sides. And then elevate your pelvis slightly off that prop so that you could move your props aside and bring your back and bring your pelvis back on the mat. And then give yourself a few breaths there. Once you've brought yourself back on the mat. And then if you feel like you want to hug the knees in, you could bring knees towards the belly, towards the chest. Or if you feel that it's not really needed, you could start to look for your Shavasana pose, your final resting pose. And this could be just lying flat on the mat. Or if you have some props there that you can bring under your legs, you could have some extra support under the knees, under the thighs, if that feels good. Let yourself find an easy pose where you feel you could let yourself rest. You could also be lying down on the belly. You could be lying down on one side. And if you want, you could bring one hand on the belly, other hand somewhere on the ribs or on the chest. And then bring your full awareness back to your breath. If you want, you can close your eyes. And just invite your awareness back inwards, back to how you're feeling, Back to how you're breathing in this resting pose. Noticing what you are feeling right now. Allowing yourself to notice, observe without judgment. There's no right or wrong way to feel, and you might feel tired, or maybe you feel energized now after that practice. Maybe you feel sleepy. If you feel sleepy and you want to doze off here for a moment, feel free to do that. We could spend at least another 5 to 10 breaths in this resting pose. Just notice if that feels like it's long enough for you. If you feel that you want to stay here longer, you are very welcome to continue this resting pose further. And if that's the case, you can just ignore me from now onwards as I slowly start to close the practice. You can let yourself stay here as long as is needed today. If you feel like after your 5 to 10 breaths, it would be a good time to start waking up from this resting pose, then take a couple of slightly bigger, deeper breaths in and out. And start to gently move your fingers, your toes, your hands, your feet. Move your wrist joints, ankle joints, do a few circles with your hands, your feet. Maybe even lengthen arms overhead along the floor. And then from your resting pose, slowly start to find your way up into a seat. Into any easy seated pose. It could be a similar pose you had in the beginning of your practice. Where do you feel you could leave your hips, your back, your shoulders soft, and give yourself a few breaths in and out to close the practice. And if it's a part of your practice, you can bring your palms together in front of the chest. And as always, at the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking some time to move,
taking some time to check in with yourself today. And I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing this practice. Namaste. Thank you.